I knew Taco Tuesday on a Friday was too good to be true.
Shut up and sit down.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah, Batman!
Our bikes love us and we love them back as we ride through the city by the cars like plaque on the teeth of the town. We just keep on singing. We're unstoppable.
Oh, hell yeah.
G&O. Unstoppable kids. Yeah. Get your bike and go.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Lee Grand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Doering. One of the most important decisions you will make is to be in a good mood. For every minute you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. So, crank it up and be happy, my friend.
When things are good, when things are hard, we ride together, we don't drive cars, but together we make such beautiful music.
Oh, hell yeah, brother, yeet.
Unstoppable mamas. A G&O, we're unstoppable. Unstoppable kids, yeah. Get your bike and go. Get your bike and go. Unstoppable papas. Pedal and flow.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! You're doing it good, buddy. Great job.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I'm Jake Von Doering, and I'm here with Lance Hepler.
Lance No Pants right here in studio.
Still looking good.
Drove 12 hours straight to be back here with you guys yesterday.
After taking your pants off in Utah?
After racing pantsless.
You were Lance No Pants.
I was Lance No Pants.
Yes. Maybe we could make that photo the thumbnail or something, or
I
post
think
it to Instagram.
there's a
or
very
something.
strong possibility of that being the
There's a couple
thumbnail artwork.
There's a couple of great photo options. I'll share them with you,
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, we can talk about that in your back pedal, but my goodness.
And to Lance's right, Evan Price.
Oh.
Evan?
Womp,
Oh. Womp, 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 womp. All right, hold on.
It's a real.
I almost forgot.
You've got it in there.
Evan is stuck at a meeting and is not going to be able to join us today. So we're going to...
I drove 12 hours, and Evan just skips because he's got some business meeting like he's important and busy.
Business.
President business.
Too
Called a
important.
meeting.
Too important.
It's Taco Monday instead of Taco Tuesday. Evan didn't want to miss Taco Monday.
There you go. And taking a big drink of Spindrift, Matt LeGrand.
Yes. What are you guys drinking today? I don't know. You just roll with that.
Coffee.
I'm drinking a Spindrift, and it's grapefruit. And I did destroy the Dialed Cycling Lab. Jake was like, "Oh, you want me to grab that for you?" No. I'll go and grab stuff out of the
locker,
shelf.
yeah.
The locker. And I proceeded to go in there and just blow up a whole can of.
He dropped a can.
and it just exploded over everything.
Exploded over all the paper files in the cabinet. Thanks, Matt.
Yes.
Let me get that next one for you.
From now on, I'm cut off. I've been cut off of Spindrift.
Yeah. It's funny. You know, it wouldn't be a podcast, though, if you didn't give us a proper introduction.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking stash-tastic.
Stashy.
And a mustache update, you guys. The mustache is still in full force.
It's still here. It
looking
is
sharp.
still with us.
Sully's looking sharp today.
Yeah, it's right about at the perfect length right now, which means next week it'll be too long.
So it'll be there. It's going to be around. It's going to make it through the holidays, you think?
Well,
See why not?
I don't see why not.
What if you use some super glue in there?
Yeah, you could.
What and what for?
Just to make sure the curls just
stay
they don't go
right
away.
there.
Yeah.
Permanent.
Just stay permanent. It's permanently.
like
I think I might get divorced if I do.
In the Lego movie, they use super glue or whatever.
Oh,
it's called
the Craggle.
Craggle.
Craggle,
Thank
yeah.
you. So
Craggle.
we just need to make your mustache more permanent. It's going to be full of Lego movie references today.
I think it's hilarious to race with this thing because it is so stupid to have on my face. It is so not aerodynamic. It just makes me laugh.
So my question will be what about funerals or things like that where it's
Just go sad mode. You turn the handlebars upside down.
I can point it down, and then I just look like
your serious face. Or
this is
what?
my serious mustache.
Now it looks like a bowl. Like they're sticking straight out, like some bull horns coming at you.
I haven't had anything I've had to be respectful for yet.
Okay.
But if there's a funeral or something. Well, we're not even having funerals now anyway.
So COVID is keeping
COVID is keeping the stash alive.
Go COVID.
Thank you, COVID.
Thanks, COVID.
Mustache talk.
That has been Mustache Talk. I feel like we start every podcast with Mustache Talk.
Can't escape it.
Nope. And when you were gone, we just bring Evan's mustache up. Talk about his policeman mustache.
That's right. That's right.
Too good. Right. Hey, how about some backpedaling, Matt? What'd you do this past week?
I biked every day. I didn't miss any days, as far as I know.
Atta kid.
I even biked this morning on Zwift. Nice,
Hey,
easy hour.
so did Jake. I rode outside, though.
Okay. Well,
in the freezing cold.
You're Lance.
I know.
And I went outside on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was cool. We went, all I did was drive my bike out to this country road that I love, brought all my film stuff, brought the drone. Jake even flew the drone for me, which was super nice. Filmed some bike stuff for some future video. Don't even know what. I'll probably reuse any decent clip like 1,000 times like I always do.
Did we get anything good?
Yeah, the drone stuff that you did was good, and the stuff that I did was okay. So,
oh, come on.
It's all right. It's fine. It's just different. And then I actually filmed a little bit more things yesterday on my ride outside. Yesterday I was kind of just climbing around Prune Hill and killing time, and filmed a couple more things. You know, you start adding stuff together, it'll be okay. It'll have enough to do either some sort of video on my new BMC bike or just having general bike clips to use for stuff. So
yeah, it's always nice to have laying around.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm coming to figure out.
And other than that, I think I rode indoors, ran a little bit, but not much. I'm trying to give my Achilles a break because there's potential for like another surgery.
Oh,
yeah.
Seriously,
it's well, you can look at it and you're gonna be like, ugh, it's just discolored.
Did you tear it again?
No, it's like retrocalcaneal bursitis, and they think it's from like a Haugen's deformity that was fixed on this side and potentially, I don't know. Anyway.
Thank you, Dr. Legrand.
Yeah, there's a real Dr. Legrand, and she's not on the podcast.
Now, I'm told, at least this is what they told me when they took the bursa out of my shoulder in my last surgery, that will grow back.
Yeah, they can grow back. Yeah, but
it's like a fatty tissue for creating some cushioning and some lubrication or something. I don't know.
Right. So that would, if they just did if they just took the bursa out, then it would just grow back and potentially have the same problem. So what they do is they cut the heel bone off.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
Shave it out.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if I want to do that. It's not super fun, and it would require 3 months off of doing anything. So
No.
Not going to do it.
So, yeah, I mean,
3
I'm just
months
trying not to run. At least it's more like 6 months, but
yeah.
Oh,
that hurts.
Because you're shaving bone or knocking. You know, they did this one, and I was awake when they were doing it. And they did my left foot. Sorry, radio talk. Did my left foot, and you know you're awake when you're doing it. So they're chiseling, ching, ching, and you hear them and feel it. You feel it, but it's not pain. It's like your whole body is shaking. And
how come you didn't want to be sedated for that?
It's easier. Recovery's faster.
Yeah. You're not sick for a day.
I would still do the same thing again if they do have to do this. If it's an option, I don't know if it will be.
I did a full-on knee surgery awake.
Really?
Like a full arthroscopic meniscus.
Was it crazy?
Yeah, it was crazy. He's like, "Do you want to be asleep for this?" I'm like, "I don't need to be." He's like, "All right." So he left me awake, and they had to like twist my knee around, and I'm like, "Whoa."
And you're like, I don't feel any of that.
But I didn't feel any of it.
Yeah. All the surgeries I've had there, I think you want to be asleep for this one.
Yeah.
So, no thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. This has been Surgery Talk.
Surgery Talk with Matt Legrand.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully not. But, the bike streak is still alive. We're looking good. Today was 76?
76.
Okay. So we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
We're getting there.
The Dowd 100 is coming to a rapid end here. I mean, we're in the last 24% now.
What are we going to do afterwards?
I don't know. Maybe ride bikes.
Celebrate?
Eat some turkey and go for another ride.
Yes, right.
Awesome.
Does it end on Thanksgiving?
Yes,
or
sir.
Does it end?
Ride number 100 will happen on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That was the plan. Be
Perfect.
thankful.
I need to figure out that day because I'm going to need to go for a Thanksgiving turkey trot, then bike, then somehow do Thanksgiving with the family, like you're all out of time at that point.
Mix a swim in there too. Call it a tri-day.
I would if I could.
Nice. Hey, Lance.
Yeah.
You did some bike racing this past week.
I did.
How about a backpedal? I've been jonesing to hear all these stories, and I purposely did not ask you.
You don't look like you have anyone that has like took you into an alley and beat you over the head. I thought that was for sure going to happen.
There was some hate. First of all, get this. This last week, I rode here in Vancouver, on Zwift, in Camas, in Washougal, in Mosier, Oregon, in Twin Falls, Idaho, in Powder Mountain, Utah, in Kaysville, Utah, and in Boise, Idaho.
Stop flexing, dude.
It's nice.
So much.
But your ride here was on Zwift, so does that count?
That was a team ride. So
I
yeah.
rode outside twice,
and you rode inside.
and I rode
So
inside.
And Watopia. Add Watopia to your list.
Yeah.
Or was it Watopia? I don't even know where it was. It was, wasn't it?
It was Watopia.
Yeah. So add that. So.
Yeah, great week for me. I also drove 2,000 miles, way too freaking much. I'm kind of worn out today. Okay, so you want to hear race stories? Is that what you want to hear?
Yes, sir.
So it was
I wanna hear
Halloween.
Dress stories.
So it was Halloween. I recirculated my Halloween race costume from last year.
But the people in Utah hadn't seen it.
No, nobody in Utah had seen it, and
They were
everybody
dying to see it.
I was dying to wear it again. I actually fit in it a little better.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, so for those that haven't seen it, or maybe you have seen it at this point, because
Did it get sewn up the back with the? Wasn't there like a? I don't know. I'm just thinking from the pictures. Like,
this is a prom dress
Right.
that I stole out of my friend Ryan Lee's garage when I was helping him clean the garage, and I'm like, "Hey, Ryan, whose dress is this?" "Oh, that's my daughter Quincy's." "Is she gonna want this back?" "No." "Okay, I'm gonna take this. Do you
I
care?"
can't believe Ryan let you take a weird dress like
Let
that.
me take. So it's a super short, fully sequined green prom dress.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's really sexy. It's made for like a 14-year-old girl. Okay, I don't fit in that. So my wife had to sew. She took it and she sewed a whole back paddle in it.
Yeah, it's like this
so I could,
V-shaped
yeah.
back panel.
So I could.
Is it like stretchy?
Yeah,
That's nice.
so I could slide it onto my body.
Nice craftsmanship
Yeah,
there.
so it was quite hilarious. Yeah. So I wore that, and I had a homecoming queen sash that my wife made as well. And so I left the sash on, and then I wore a big blonde wig underneath my helmet. Mm-hmm. So
Now, the $1 million question, though, Lance, what were you wearing under the dress?
okay, so
Not for nothing. I think my eyes broke a little bit. It almost looked like you were wearing some like booty shorts or something like that, dude. It's like,
I was wearing my normal bib shorts, but I had them hiked all the way up
There you go.
past the shave line.
That's why I had to ask, because I could see tan lines. I'm like,
Yeah.
now he had to have been wearing something with a chamois in there, because my
did.
God, that would not feel good for an hour on a cross bike.
But,
But
you're messing with people.
I was messing with,
like.
especially the guys behind me, because the skirt was so short that my full butt would have been hanging out if I didn't have something on. So it was
good Lord.
hilarious.
It's covered. You can just write a message on your butt cheeks.
I wear another pair of Superman underwear that says "Bam" on the butt, but I didn't wear that anyway. So yeah, I wore the dress, I wore the wig. The race was in Utah, in Kaysville, which is between Ogden and Salt Lake.
Okay.
My race had only about 15 people in it, not that many people. Out of the 15, 3 of us in costume. So not many people
It
in
looked
costume.
like the front 3.
Well,
but it's hard to tell because you're probably lapping people.
Well, we were lapping people, but the guy I was battling with, he was in a Joe Dirt outfit.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so we had like jean shorts on and a long, blonde wig, and it was hilarious. His name's Scott Allen. He's the winner of the series from the previous year, from last year. And so, but I'm all laughing and cracking jokes and making fun of people for not wearing costumes. It's not like the Portland Halloween,
or Bend.
The race is in Bend every year. Just case in point, I won the costume outfit for the entire race. I won it like a $25 gift card at some brewery.
Nice.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious. But
did you give it to someone?
I didn't, because they serve fries there.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Fries are good.
Brewery fries are the best.
So in Bend, I wouldn't have even been in the top 50 best costumes. Yeah. But in Utah, where not many people, I was surprised there was not that many people in costume. But I thought, what the heck? I'm doing this. I'm doing this for fun. It's just a big joke anyway, so whatever.
Not
but
surprised.
when they blew the whistle, yeah, it was full gas, game on. Yeah. I was racing as hard as I possibly can.
That's what it looked like.
So it was a 9-lap race. I went hard on the first lap to try to create some space and gap the field. And I only gapped him for about 5 seconds. And the course was very different. It really wasn't that technical. And there were several very long power stretches. And in those long power stretches, it's actually...
Phallic?
It's
advantageous to have a group, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to get away with long power sections.
Right.
And so the whole, 4 guys caught me, midway through lap 2.
Were they working together against you?
Well, they were all working together, and they caught up to me, and then...
Were they rotating at all or taking turns?
I couldn't tell.
Probably not.
I didn't look that closely behind me. So then there was a group of 5 of us, and once they caught me, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go hard now, and I sat up and let one guy go around, and then I just sat on his wheel for, the next 4 laps. And the group of 5 ended up whittling down to 3, so there were 3 of us that ended up pulling away from everybody else. And I was fully prepared for a final sprint. It was going to be a 3-up sprint for the win. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in second wheel. The course, there was this slight downhill, half-mile long section on a dirt path that you would get going 27, 28 miles an hour. So, and then right at the end of that, there was a wooden bridge, a sharp wooden bridge that was difficult to go over. And right after that, a steep uphill. And the steep uphill always spread us out.
Yeah.
So my plan was to hit that steep uphill as hard as I could, try to gap the group. We go down one other hill, back up another path, and then we hit two barriers we had to run over, which was 200 meters from the finish line.
Okay.
So I thought, if I am barely in the lead after the barriers, then I can sprint the last 200 meters to try to win. Well, the 3 of us are all wheel on wheel on wheel. 3 of us, right together. We go over the bridge. I'm in second place. The guy in first hits the bridge so hard he flats.
Oh.
So 2 minutes to go in the race, his front tire flats. And we didn't realize it. All of a sudden, I just went around him, he just sat up, and I'm like, what just happened? I'm not going harder than I did before. And then
you hit that hill hard, and that was that pretty much.
We hit the hill hard. I went over the barriers. The other guy stayed with me, but he just couldn't get around me. And as we came through the finish, we were hitting lap traffic, so there wasn't room to sprint either. So I ended up winning by 1 second. Wow. So the guy was right on my wheel. So, but I won.
There you go.
So it was good.
Victory.
So it was exciting. It was fun. I was nervous a lot of the race because I thought, okay, I'm not going to run away with it. Because last week I just ran away with it. Yeah. I got away from people, and it was more technical. And with the more technical turns and things,
you can get away easier.
I get away a little easier. But on this one with big, long power sections, no, it wasn't happening. So we'll have to see what happens.
And the
next
dress was very aerodynamic.
So I wore the dress, and everybody was laughing, and I got propositioned on every corner, and people made fun of me. It was exactly what I wanted. That's why you wear the dumb dress anyway.
Getting on the podium wasn't very ladylike either, man.
So I did not get on the podium very ladylike at all. I just and split my legs open wild up there. And I wore the big wig I couldn't even see on the podium. It was pretty funny.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer running away with it, or do you prefer the tight down to the wire?
I prefer running away with it because it makes the last lap just all right, I got this.
Just like a victory lap almost, yeah.
Just don't screw up. Just don't crash. Don't break something,
Smooth as fast.
Just roll with it. So I prefer that. But Instead, there was 4 laps there. I'm scheming the entire time.
Yeah.
There was 4 laps. We're all running together. It's like, okay, just don't let him get away. Stay on his wheel.
So that was race number 3 of the
It
series?
was race number 4 of the series.
Have you done all 4? Did you
I
miss one?
missed the first one.
That's right.
But you're still got to be either in the lead or close to it.
I'm in second right now.
How are you in second with 2 wins in a second?
Because
So that many points you missed at the first race?
Yeah, because it's 50 points for first place, 45 for second, 40 for third, 35 for fourth. The guy who's in the lead, he's got a 10-point lead on me, but he's taken third, and fourth.
Okay.
So it's enough to be more than my
Gotcha.
2 first and a second.
And that's not the guy who won the series last year. It's a different guy?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And he took 4th this past week?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
it's going to be close.
It's going to be close. I found out that it's the best 6 out of 8 races.
Oh, okay.
So
that's good for you.
That's good for me.
Yep. You can blow one off.
So I can blow one off.
One more.
This week's race is at Soldier Hollow, which was an Olympic venue during the Salt Lake Olympics. They did the cross-country biathlon stuff there. Well,
where they shoot the guns.
Yeah, they did that there, and the cross-country racing, the ski racing.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, they did that stuff there.
Those are real athletes.
And there's right now there's pretty good potential for snow. Ooh. So it could be freezing cold and snowing during the race. So that could be interesting.
Different outfit choice.
Yeah, I'll wear something more covering.
Excellent.
Longer dress.
Just a longer dress.
No, it'll be good. Longer dress will be fine.
Awesome.
All right.
Is that it?
That's it.
Fun.
Enough of me.
Backpedal, Jake?
Yeah, I'll be quick. We did the team Zwift ride. That was good.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
A little bit of a workout there. And then we did, I think, one of the more fun rides I've done in a long time. We did a nighttime gravel ride.
Yes.
I saw pictures from that. Who won going back to the Team Zwift, who won the Team Zwift thing?
I think Nate Scott won again.
Nate Scott.
He's just super strong right now.
You guys let Alex go off the front.
Yep.
At some point, right?
Yeah, so sometimes we'll let a little rabbit off the front just to create a breakaway, see if they can stick it. So we gave him, what was that, about a minute and a half head start?
About a minute and a half lead.
And he poured himself into that, and I think he kind of bonked maybe just a little bit.
Okay.
There's one little climb, and middle of the climb, me, Nate, and Mike Guyvan all just
reeled him in.
Blew past him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did well though. I mean, he put out a good effort and still rode pretty strong. So that was a fun ride, but the ride that we did on Wednesday was a nighttime gravel ride,
cool?
And that was a blast.
This is great.
That's cool.
Yeah, I went back and checked. We actually had 14 people.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with how many people showed up, and everybody was real respectful, came out there and was keeping their distance and wore their buffs. And
everybody wore buffs.
Everybody had a good time. Everybody had their lights on, and everybody rode safe and weren't being mean to the trail walkers that were still out there on the trails in the dark. Like, come on, get a light or something. But that was a blast. We rode for about an hour and 40 minutes or so. It was about almost 30 miles.
I rode 2 hours that night, but it was about 30 miles.
Yeah. So
Dyke Trail?
Yeah, we went on Dyke Trail.
Lacamas Park and all the other fun stuff, the Heritage Trail. And it was a blast. I think that's going to have to be a thing. Now, I don't know if we'll get the same attendance if it's going to be a rainy night, but I think if it's any other conditions, I think we're going to put it on the calendar and try and make that a thing.
That's pretty cool.
It was fun.
Yeah. Did a couple other Zwift rides. I was kind of tired the latter part of the week, and I did ride my mountain bike yesterday, and that was the first time I've been on that bike. I think that's probably the first proper mountain bike ride I've done on that. I mean, I've done other rides with my family. I don't think I've actually taken it out since. So that was fun. And my legs were tired, so I'm like, all right, that's probably a good time to get on that bike so I'm not going super hard, so I can kind of get a little bit of a shoulder workout.
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird, but it's a really good way for me to try and build some strength in my shoulder because it's always throwing different things at you, and you're not getting jarred as hard as you would on a gravel bike.
Where'd you go on the mountain bike? Round Lake?
Round Lake and to Fallen Leaf Lake and to the Heritage Trail. There's a bunch of other stuff. I just went up road for about an hour and a half. So that was fun.
It's nice. It was a nice day yesterday.
It was.
We've had sun and good warm weather. I haven't even worn arm warmers. It's pretty pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we connected with you on Saturday, and we were out there with some of the juniors, and the Hamness brothers were out there. It was just all of a sudden, like, there's this big contingent of Dial people out in the middle of this country road in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, I got several emails
Did
after
you?
these Saturday rides.
Did you print them out for our bathroom?
I should have printed them out for the bathroom. I made some segments out there that not many people had done, and finally somebody went out and went after them. So
yeah, we were out there riding. We said that we were going to do everything in a time trial format, but I don't think the juniors got that memo. So they were sitting on wheels and
sprinting at the end.
Exactly, but that was all fun. It was all good fun. So
I love it.
Yeah, that was about it.
Cool.
Good times, good week.
It's a pretty road out there.
Yeah,
it is. It is. How about some Leadout news?
Champ Bailey.
Champ
Where
Bailey.
is he?
Champ Bailey's in a meeting with Evan Price.
Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey. President Business.
President Business here. All right. We got some news. The Vuelta a España is having some drama. It actually seems to be much more interesting than the Giro, but maybe because there's better people in it or whatnot.
Seems like it.
This is Monday. Today's a rest day through Sunday through stage 12. Stage 12 was a great stage. It ended on the Angliru.
Nailed it.
I nailed that. Some ridiculous climb that is 2,000 feet of elevation gain in like 2 miles or something. It has up to like 23.5%. It was super steep, and I think they have it almost every year in the Vuelta. So before the stage, Primož Roglič and Carapaz were tied. They had the exact same time.
Really?
Yeah.
So who gets the red jersey? Was it the person that still had it last?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Primož had it. Primož was wearing the red jersey, and who was in the green jersey? Oh, Dan Martin was in the green jersey, I think.
Yeah.
But
Dan Martin, the world famous sprinter.
Yeah. So it was a great race right up to the very end. All the 6 or 7 lead guys were all together going up this climb at the very end. EF Education first guy, Hugh Carthy.
Carthy, yeah.
He ended up winning by just a few seconds.
Wow.
And what was crazy, Sepp Kuss was there with Primož Roglič. Sepp Kuss probably could have gone for the win himself, but he stayed with Roglič because he was struggling a little bit right at the very end.
Sepp Kuss has been on this year, man. This has been his year.
He has been great.
Roglič has been good too. But
and he could have just
gone.
But, everybody's struggling and raking up this climb, and Sepp is on his radio. Hey, you guys want me to slow up to help Primož?
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy. Primož ended up losing 10 seconds to Carapaz, so he is out of the jersey again. But it should be exciting.
Time trial on Tuesday.
So we'll see how
that goes.
It's a 35-kilometer time trial. That favors Primož Roglič. He should put a minute, or a minute and a half into Carapaz.
That much, you think, huh?
That's what Christian Van de Velde and Bob Roll were saying. But
that's a lot of time.
Yeah, so
that could be the end of your hopes. You lose a minute.
Yeah, it could be.
It would be interesting to see a time trial shape another Grand Tour.
Yeah,
but that's true.
Not that it's not on the last day like at the Tour de France.
No, but
still, so it should be interesting. The other news, the Tour de France released their route for 2021.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Haven't had a chance to look into it. How does it look? Who's it going to favor?
Well, there's only 3 big mountaintop finishes and 2 individual time trials. No team time trial. A little more traditional route than in years past.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So it's going to be more of like a big coming out party for more sprinters?
It could be.
And no team time trials, you said
no
that, correct?
No team trial, yeah. And one day is like 250 kilometers, too. There's a really long day. Yeah, there's 248 kilometer.
Any famous hilltop finishes that you can list off there?
The Ardidan. Luz Ardidan. That's a famous one, hilltop finish. And I'm not seeing any others. Nope.
Interesting. So are we going to be seeing some new routes maybe?
I think so, but it's mostly it's just more traditional route than they've really kind of changed things up those last couple years, and they're going back to
this
their
past
roots.
year was a crap ton of climbing.
Yes,
it was just climb after big climb.
So much stuff. Other than that, there really wasn't a whole lot of other news in bike racing. So,
yep. Should we press pause?
We
or should we
don't
just
have
roll
to.
through this?
So what happened in the triathlon world, Matt?
I don't know. He's giving a urine sample right now.
Well, not a lot happened in the triathlon world. I'm doing my best Matt voice right
There's
now.
a big race in Florida this coming weekend.
There's a race in Florida coming up.
Coming up.
Tell us what's happening in the triathlon world coming up.
USAT just showed up to test Matt, so he had to go give a quick urine sample real quick.
It's a drug test on site. Actually, they're not drug testing anymore. They're done with that. So it's just
right.
Drug,
It's a free-for-all.
Drug free-for-all right now.
Sweet.
Especially in Daytona, where they're doing that professional triathlon organization race. And it's, on the motor speedway. It's like super fast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pros only.
Pros only, invitation only.
Invitation only.
Yeah. And
They're doing the whole ride on the motor speedway? They're just doing
that's my understanding.
laps
yeah.
upon laps?
I think it's pretty big. So if they go around that a couple times.
Like 3 miles or something like
It's
that?
2.5 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So they do that, and they're all pros, so they should be able to be pretty tight. I mean, I would expect them to be within.
They making left-hand turns or right-hand turns?
They used to do like the swim in the middle too. Like there's some crazy stuff.
Pond in the middle of the course.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and I think they run on the track as well.
On the track.
Maybe they go out for the bike ride. I don't know. Don't quote me in on any of this stuff. Are we recording?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Matt,
Okay.
you really don't know
Right.
anything, do you?
I never know anything. I don't really follow it that close, to be honest. But Evan's usually the one that comes in and nails his stuff. So, but all the big names are going to be there. There were some people that were like left off for a while. Like Sam Long was, he's a really strong athlete. You biked with him.
He
I think.
was off screwing around riding gravel.
He was with you. And he's one of the stronger triathletes right now, and he was left off the invitation list, and then he got in as like this wild card invite. I'm like, come on, you should have been like,
It's Sam Long.
should have been there. But yeah, so that and Eric Lagerstrom, who's another guy that we talk about on the podcast sometimes.
Local guy?
He's going to come on the podcast someday, and he's also on that list. He got in as well.
How will he do?
And
And what distance are they doing? Is it full or is it half or what is the distance?
I don't know. I think it's it's not full. It's half. Or
Gotcha.
So.
We'll
Maybe
talk more
some
about
sort
that
of
next week,
adjusted.
maybe after
We'll
they
talk
have
about
it.
results.
Yeah.
We can talk about the results
I'm
next
sure
week.
Evan will be all
He'll be all
jazzed about
amped
that.
up about it. It's going to be live as well, so you guys can check that out if you guys are triathletes and you want to watch some triathletes get after it. Yep.
All right. That has been Leadout News.
Leadout news.
Brought to you by bubbly water. Is that what you're drinking over there?
Mango bubbly water.
Awesome. Hey, Patreon time.
Patreon.
We're going to do a Patreon drawing.
Fantastic.
Drawing. So let's shape up this thing here. So what we've got to give away is a neck buff, because who doesn't need a neck buff in this day and age, and with weather getting cold and COVID stuff bouncing around, and
I got 3 of them on rotation.
there you go.
You can always use another one.
Yep.
And then there's a podcast sticker in there, and then there's a new shiny dialed hologram sticker too to go with that.
I
So
like those.
Let's shake this thing up. And Matt did it last time, so let's let Lance pull one out of there. He's gonna pull one thing without looking at names. Open it up, and who we got?
Mark Radford.
Mark
Ooh.
Radford.
Mark
That's good.
Radford.
He's won before, hasn't he?
I don't know.
Stuff. I don't know.
Come on
Well,
in.
Mark Radford, since you're local, you can swing by and pick it up.
We're just looking up this Daytona stuff, and it says it's December 6th, so...
Oh, that's
wait,
a few
wait
weeks
for
out.
it. Wait for it.
So it's not this week.
Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
All right.
I thought it was something. Maybe there's something else going on in Daytona.
Whatever.
Who knows?
Back to the Patreon
Maybe.
stuff. If you yourself would like to become a Patreon to be entered into these drawings and to help support the show, you can go to dialpodcast.com and click on the Patreon link and go pick a Patreon that works best for you. We appreciate all of our 16 Patreons.
Yes.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you guys.
So
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else before we move in? Do we forget anything? I always feel like Evan's got stuff to.
He always chimes in with something witty, nails it every time.
All right, let's jump into our topic for the day. Topic is stuff we don't need in cycling and triathlon.
Stuff don't need.
Don't need.
Okay, I was thinking of like things that we don't need, but you guys are thinking like.
I'm thinking of like tangible things.
Okay. I was like, bad attitude. You can leave that.
You can leave that
you
at
can leave
home.
your bad attitude. You can leave your prom dress.
Because you don't need a prom dress. Wait, no, yes, you do.
You do. Yes, you do.
All right, Lance, what do you got? What's the first thing you got on your list?
The first thing I thought of that you don't need in cycling is a big, cushy seat.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good idea.
People always think, my butt is going to be so sore,
yeah.
so I need the biggest, cushiest, softest, gel foam, thick, 4-inch thick seat with giant springs underneath it that I can sit on so that my butt doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Turns out, all that cushiness can start to rub things a little funky, and it can make things actually worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
My neighbor just got on the Peloton wagon, and he's obsessed, and so it's pretty cool. But, he's basically just said, like, hey, I'm going to go 2 weeks and just put up with it. And then he said, like, now I'm good. But that's
the first 2 weeks was you're a little sore,
Yeah,
and then
super sore.
and then you're good.
But, yeah, the cushy seat is a bad call.
Correct.
Yeah, saddle sores for sure.
When's the last time you had a saddle sore?
I can't even remember.
Mine was right before we did Seattle to Portland.
Oh,
I did
that's bad timing.
I did 100-miler like indoors, kind of getting prepped for that one or whatever. And then I was like, I might not be able to do this race.
Yep.
It was bad, but got cleared up before. And
it was okay. I actually got one during the Belgian waffle ride.
Oh,
that 4 hours on a gravel bike, bouncing around, racing really hard, trying to be aero and dirty.
Yep.
I got it actually wasn't bad. But then we're in this 100-day challenge, so I never took time off the bike.
Yeah.
I just sat on my saddle a little askew, and I'm all good now.
And you're good.
It healed up.
Do you, I'm sure you use chamois cream or something like that?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Actually, anything under an hour or around an hour, no.
That's
I don't even take a water bottle. I shouldn't say that.
I've been thinking the same thing. Like, I'm not even going to use this water bottle.
I was riding the other day, and I ran into somebody. He's like, dude, where's your water bottle? And I'm like, I'm riding for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't need it. And don't listen to me. Drink water. Take your water bottle.
Use chamois cream
Use
when you
chamois
need
cream.
to. When you need to. No, but I think if it's like maybe 2 hours or under, I think that's a good line.
Yep.
The chamois cream?
I think so.
Yeah.
My wife, however, every single ride, every time, it's all good.
I think the temperature has a little bit of a
something to do with it.
It plays a little factor in there for me as well. With the when it's hot and you're getting really sweaty and you don't have the chamois cream in there for whatever reason, like your skin gets a little bit softer. You almost need to have that chamois cream in there just to create a nice little barrier so you're not getting rubbed raw.
Okay, so here's a question: do you apply the chamois cream on your chamois or on your
nether region,
or both,
or both? Do you do both, Matt?
If I'm doing like a 100-mile ride, you
do
I'll
both.
Go pretty thick.
Goes on and it goes on the chamois where you typically have problems.
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah,
I put mine just.
But I really am only using chamois
self-applied.
Just put it on once though.
I only put it on once. You don't double dip in the chamois cream.
I just pass it around with my friends.
You don't share your chamois cream with anybody else.
In running, we used to have Body Glide, and I just remember someone being like, "You got any extra Body Glide?" And I'm like,
"Nope."
So what I did was I bought a dozen of those small ones. Someone would be like, "You got any of that extra body? I need to borrow some." I'm like, "No, we're not borrowing it. This is yours. Merry Christmas, my friend. Don't expect anything else for Christmas. That's it.
I'm taken care of."
But Body Glide's the same thing as chamois cream, sort of, except for maybe a little lower on the thigh area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Friction
but
rub.
it's like a deodorant stick.
Yep. There's a couple right over there behind you. Little pink ones at the bottom. The little shelf thing over there.
You got the for her version.
For her, yeah. Got to support the women too.
Yeah.
I know, but do you have the for him?
I don't know. Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't know.
This has been Chamois Talk.
Brought to you by Body Glide.
What are we doing? What are we doing with this podcast?
All right, Matt, let's go. What you got? What's on your list?
I don't think that you need to have headphones.
Oh,
this is
first
like
one.
Oh, is that what's on your list?
Yeah.
Okay, so
True story.
True story. Now, but all of us kind of wear like something to listen to music, but we don't want to cover our ears to block out traffic or knowing when a car is coming or
Correct.
whatever sort of yelling or screaming that you might have coming your way if we're biking on their roads. But I think that, people that I've seen and that are wearing helmets, I'll tend to avoid them or tend to not bike with them just because I fear for not being able to hear what's going on. So
I think
don't need headphones.
you don't need headphones, but I am going to say that the bone conduction headphones get a pass on that.
Yeah, no. I have my weird. I agree; those are nice.
Yeah.
So, but if the question is, do you need it? No, you don't.
You don't need it, but it's nice entertainment when you're on a long ride.
You need to have a flat kit repair. You need to have a helmet. You don't need to have music. You can listen to the nature, the music of natural birds singing.
Chirp. It depends on how
swans.
disturbed I am that day.
The voices in your head.
If the voices in my head are speaking loudly, I don't take the music. I let them talk it out so they stop talking.
Fight it out, boys.
The days that you're doing hard intervals or long intervals, music really helps you get through that.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, and sometimes like a song length might just so happen to coincide with a long set, and you know that you've just got to get through said song or maybe two songs. And I think that there's a value there, but you don't need to have it. I guess it's I want to have it with me. Right? Sure. Needs and wants. Cool. All right, I'm going to go. My thing is you don't need all of the tools. You don't need the specific tools that you're probably going to use like once or twice, and you went out and spend $200 on a bearing press or something like that. Right. You don't need all the tools. Sometimes you want to rely on your local bike shop or go to Lance's house and take it.
I've got almost all the tools.
Lance's house.
These tools get very expensive. If you want to have a full collection, a full set, you don't need to have all of them. You do need the basics. You should have the basics, but I don't think you need all of the crazy things. Like I just had to buy a brake mount refacer.
Right.
Like you don't need to buy that. Let me take the hit on that. You know how much those things cost?
Wasn't like $450.
Yeah,
$450.
So,
for something you're going to use 3 times in the next 5 years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What is it? A brake
so
mount?
So when you've got a disc mount,
yeah,
and you put it on like a flat mount or something like that, and let's say that the surface where it mounts is a little bit askew or it's not perfectly flat or flush. If it's a little bit off, that's going to cause the brake caliper to rub or not brake properly, not probably even pressure. So you put this on there and it actually will go through and it'll shave off little microns until it makes it perfectly flat, and it works both on carbon and the alloy braking surfaces so that you can make the brake mount sit on there perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Complicated.
Yeah, broke my wallet, but don't need all the specific tools. All right, Lance, what else you got?
You actually don't need cycling specific clothes. You don't. You could go out in your flip flops and yoga pants if you wanted to. I don't have yoga pants, but quite often I'll ride just in shorts and a t-shirt. I'll do that.
For how long though?
An hour or less.
Yeah, I can tend to hurt myself if I'm not a little bit careful with shorts. Like sometimes we'll do these like family rides and I'm like, oh, I need some support.
Well, it's amazing because your body is so acclimated to sitting on a saddle with a chamois on there. Yeah. When you don't, it almost hurts, and I'm almost afraid that I am going to get a saddle sore because of that. I just don't want to like disrupt anything. So I will, instead of just wearing just regular shorts, I'll put the regular shorts on over a pair of bibs that will be underneath my t-shirt.
There's been quite a few times I've just hopped on a bike in the clothes I'm wearing.
Go.
Yeah, I've done that. But
you're out on your adventures, though, and that's typically when you're taking the dog for a run, right?
Yeah, true.
That's when you leave your helmet behind. But that should be on my list. Here, that's my next one. You have to have you have to have a helmet.
You have to have a helmet.
I need to do the opposite. We need to do what you don't need.
A hat. If you don't need a hat, you need a helmet. Awesome. All right, what else you got?
I got aero bars because I was reading our suggestion. I was thinking triathlete. You don't have to have aero bars. you're going to see a lot of triathletes use them. If you're coming from a biking-centric world, you definitely don't need them. You're going to see most road cyclists not use aero bars. Are they faster? Yes. Why don't all road bikers use them? Because it's a little less safe to be on aero bars, for one. Second of all, you're out for a training ride. You're not time trialing. So I think aero bars aren't necessarily a need to have. They are faster.
What if you're trying to acclimate yourself to that position so that when you are going out and doing, say, a triathlon or a time trial?
That's great. I think that's great. Use them. You can clip them on when you need them, and you can take them off just as fast and easy as clipping them on. It's not that big of a deal. So I would say if you probably are going out on that group ride with some roadies, then don't put the aero bars on there. Honestly, 99% of the time you don't need the aero bars. Like if you're getting acclimated to a TT setup or you want to practice that stuff and you go out on your own and do that with your aero bars, great, go for it. But and I also a lot of times, like, we have this beautiful tool, Zwift and indoor riding. That's another perfect time to get used to aero position.
True.
So you train your muscles in your body to do it there. Not necessarily when you're in a group pack ride with your friends. That's not a great time to test out your aero position. So
truth.
Don't need aero bars. Always.
Cool. Here's another one. You don't need expensive ceramic bearings in every single bearing in your bike. You just don't.
What?
Especially like your headset. Like you'll pay twice as much for ceramic bearings, and I've always wondered, like, how much of a weight savings are you going to get by going ceramic in a headset?
Not much.
I mean, I've seen some pretty bad headsets, and they still work just fine. And then people will want to go and spend twice as much to put a ceramic bearing in a headset that turns millimeters just to make your bike turn. Do you need that?
Well, will they last longer? Potentially. So there's some... The problem is the cost effectiveness is not there, right? So it's like you can change your steel bearings 100 times before you're gonna before they're gonna pay for themselves. I don't think. I still think that the ceramic ones will wear out
maybe
eventually.
7 or 8 times.
Well,
or 100.
Whatever I said was correct. I don't even know what I said. It was right though.
What about though for like your bottom bracket and the pulley wheels? I think you were telling us
save
that
watts
just to save a few watts. Do you think it's worth the expense?
So there's some interesting pieces to this, right? So the ceramic bearings, so all of it comes down to like how round they are, how perfectly round and smooth they are. If they're rounder and smoother and more uniform, they are faster. So that will save you. But steel bearings come in very varying quality as well. Yeah. So you can get very good steel bearings probably for less. Like Chris King, aren't those steel? Those bearings typically do pretty well.
Correct.
And so you're really getting very marginal, we'll say, with your benefits of going ceramic at that point if you get good steel bearings. But again, if you're doing that in places where we're talking about your drivetrain, that is direct power into the bike, whether that's the pulley wheels or, something like the bottom bracket. There is probably some savings there, but you're talking about spending some big doll hairs for watts there, right? Like it's not an effective price per watt investment.
Correct.
Or that's my take on it.
Yeah, bikes get pretty funky. I mean, especially when you just talk about dropping weight. And when you get into like more expensive bikes, you end up almost paying $1,000 per pound you drop when you get to a certain threshold, which can be pretty ridiculous. And I don't think that you need to be necessarily paying for the lightest bike.
I don't know. A guy as fat as me should probably be thinking about dropping, a little weight from the bike, not the belly.
Not the belly.
Not the belly. I'm hanging on to that.
Nice. What else you got, Mr. Matt?
Well, I'll piggyback on what you were saying. Like, you don't need carbon bikes. Like, I'm trying to remember where I was, and it was at the cross country practice, and the kids were like, "Is that a carbon bike?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a carbon bike," but don't feel like you need a carbon bike, right? Again, this is another place where it's like, how much money per pound did you go with that?
Yeah,
aluminum bikes are actually great in a lot of ways, and I think titanium bikes, the price is still pretty high on titanium bikes, but man, there's some really great benefits to titanium bikes.
There are. They're more expensive than carbon bikes.
In some cases they are.
Sometimes. If you look right now, we should pull up some stuff because I'm trying to think. Lightspeed, is that the brand that you have? They've got some crazy sales right now, and it's like cool stuff. And you're like, this is gonna last a long time. Durability on this stuff is fantastic, and you can lay it down and not freak out as much. I also think steel is significantly heavier. Not quite as well. Some people will argue that steel is a better ride, but I don't necessarily think that's the case compared to carbon, but I do think that it's something to consider if it's an option, is having like a steel bike that's just gonna hold up to time. So don't necessarily. So for my you don't need segment, it will be like you don't have to automatically go to carbon.
Okay.
True.
I'm going to go to carbon, though, but that's just me. But I agree with you.
Do you need it? Like, would you just not ride if it was like, here are your choices?
I would quit cycling. I would be done.
Some truer words have never been spoken. You're like, you have this steel bike, titanium bike, and aluminum bike, or quit cycling. And you're like, I'm gone. I'm done.
I'm done.
Quitting. I'm only in it for the carbon.
That's right, baby. No, that's a good point, though, Matt. Appreciate that. How about you, Lance? What else you got?
You don't have to be the same fitness or speed to ride with somebody else.
That's true.
Correct.
That's a good point.
You can ride with faster people, especially if you learn how to draft properly. But I think you'll find that most even faster cyclists want other people to ride with, and they'll be happy to ride with other people to share that load and have the camaraderie of riding with other people. It's safer to ride in groups anyway, usually.
Yep.
So I know a lot of people, like, they'll come to me and say, Lance, I'd love to ride with you, but there's no way I could even hang with you. And I'm like, well, come out with me on a day where I'm
not killing yourself.
Not killing myself.
You can sprint off the front or
right,
whatever.
Yeah. So just...
Yeah. The myth is that Lance only rides at one pace, which is hard, which is sort of true, but it's also he has the ability to ride at different paces.
Correct.
So you would go ride with me.
Of course, man. Yeah. There's a time I couldn't even hang on your wheel.
Long in the past.
It's a great way to get stronger, though.
It is.
Go ride with faster people.
Yeah.
And if you can have an agreement where they're not going to just drop you, but they're going to challenge you a little bit, you'll come out the backside stronger.
Yeah.
If the person is dropping you and like you're getting lost or whatever, that person that you're not going to want to ride with that a-hole.
Correct. That's another thing that we don't need in cycling is
we don't need a-holes. We don't need them. Yeah.
All right. My next thing. You don't need tubes.
Oh.
You don't need tubes anymore, folks.
That's true.
You might want to have one just in case, but I don't think that there is a reason to have a tube in a bicycle anymore. If you are set up tubeless in all your bikes, you will get along just fine, and you will be thankful for it, because if you ride enough, you're not going to get flats as often. I might have gone from maybe having 10 flats a year down to I'm lucky if I have one a year.
Yeah.
And that's because I switched over to tubeless on my road bike, on my mountain bike, and on my gravel bike, and everything is fantastic. Everything is awesome. Who's going to sing it?
It's a Lego reference. I feel like we nailed the Lego reference in this movie.
Everything is awesome.
So, yeah, you don't need tubes anymore. Switch over to tubeless. Make the transition. If you're getting 10 flats a year, that's going to add up to $60, $70 just in CO2 and tubes.
I need to make the switch.
You do. You really do.
With the next wheel set, then that's that.
And if you have 10 flats, you're probably spending 10 minutes.
Yep.
So you're looking at an hour and a half of sitting on the side of the road, changing flat tires, putting a new tube in there that you're spending money on. And you're going to have a lesser ride quality. You're going to have worse rolling resistance.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Don't need tubes anymore. Don't do it.
I don't have a single bike that isn't tubeless.
Correct?
They're all tubeless. Oh, no, that's not true. My cyclocross pit bike is tubular.
Tubular.
What about your old titanium?
The old titanium, I don't ride it. It's wall art.
You got it though.
It's
I don't have a single
on the
bike.
Wall.
You said I don't have a
take
single
it back.
bike. Okay,
Matt,
take it back.
I'm incorrect. I take it back.
Take it back. Take back your dirty
my
toggle, man.
My titanium rain bike with the fenders on it, which is hanging on the wall, has tubes. Yeah.
And for your off-road bikes, you're switching over to the Cush Core stuff, which I think is a pretty cool setup. How are you liking that so far? I mean, we've talked about it a few times, I think, on this podcast.
Case in point, this race this weekend, I have Cush Cores in my cyclocross race bike. The guy in front of me did not. He was just running tubeless. We hit a very sharp bridge at 24 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and he flatted and I didn't.
Did he burp? Is that what happened?
No, we just hit it so hard.
But what kind of tire was he running? Do you know?
pinch flat?
Was it a pinch? Was he running tubular?
he was
Tubeless?
running tubeless.
Okay, and just burped
So he
it.
must have burped it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I hit it just as hard as he did.
Did you
and
bottom out?
It bottomed out, but
Felt the rim, but you were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it was we were coming to the end. We were like trying to gap each other a little
Yeah.
bit. So we were going just a little bit harder, and
Man.
his tire blew, mine didn't, because I had the Cush course.
Cush core is another good reason to not have tubes, because if you're running tube, you can't run Cush core.
You can't. That's
So-
correct.
Yep, that's going. Matt, you got any more?
Of course.
Keep them coming.
All right, so triathletes, I really have a problem with like our sport being super expensive, and you don't need a specific type of bike to do triathlon. If you want to try out our sport,
Yeah.
borrow a bike.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind. Could be a mountain bike. Could be a road bike. Could be a cruiser, beach cruiser. Doesn't matter.
Whatever's going to get you that finisher
Whatever
medal.
is going to get you the finisher's medal, if that's what you're motivated by. But don't feel like you need the TT bike, which is the bikes with the aero bars and all that stuff. And don't feel like you even need a road bike. If you only have a mountain bike, great.
Yep.
Try it. Maybe even try a couple of triathlons. See if you like it. And if you do, then, talk to Jake and make a purchase. But
My first triathlon was on a borrowed bike.
Yeah.
I didn't buy a
Okay.
bike. I just borrowed one from somebody.
that's good.
Yep.
Yeah. I did purchase the road bike, and that was great. And then I think the next year, maybe I purchased clip-on aero bars or something like that, And the clip-on aero bars are pretty cheap, even though I said you don't need them. But
Yep. Cool. Let's go in, Lance.
So I asked my wife.
oh man,
Oh, this is fun.
I asked my wife this morning. I said,
she's like,
okay, Brandy.
adventure van. You don't need an adventure van.
I said, Brandy, what are things you don't need in cycling? And she just said, a spouse, a cheering squad, a pit bike, Strava, a whoop strap, a sprinter van, a team, or a $10,000 bike.
Oh my
She
gosh.
says, you don't need any of that.
You got served.
She is correct.
Wow.
You don't need any of that stuff to be a cyclist or to ride. It all makes it funner, but
Marginally funner, right? Just a
Yeah.
little bit more.
I like my spouse.
You got lots of.
I like my van.
You got your van.
I like my fast bike.
Here's another one. You don't need all of the expensive supplements.
Oh yeah.
You just don't need them. You don't need to go out and spend a boatload of money on some post-ride protein, yada yada drink or whatever.
What was Evan drinking last time? Protein shake drink thing? I don't remember. He had something last week.
Yeah, some recovery protein thing.
So he's talking about his gray hair with his recovery.
Now, there are certain things that you're going to want to take with you when you're out on a ride, right? So
Sure.
you need to keep your electrolytes in balance. You need to keep your
Yeah.
glycogen levels topped off. You need to have fuel and calories just so that you can power yourself through a 100-mile ride. You got to take stuff with you. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when you get home, you don't need to do the big, expensive recovery drink, because a lot of times food is going to be much more effective and a lot less expensive and taste a heck of a lot better than actually putting, just supplements. I mean, a supplement it's supplementing food. So if you have access to food, you don't always need to use a supplement. That's just my 2 cents. There are certain supplements that I do like and that I do use for specific reasons, but I don't spend a lot of money on that, the recovery stuff or stuff prior to going out on a ride. I typically will try and do it with food. And Matt's a big proponent of like doing burritos on the bike.
Burritos.
Breakfast burritos
Well,
on
the
the
breakfast-
bike.
So
Those are good, too.
On our team training camp, I made breakfast burritos for everyone and just handed them out. They're perfect. You just slide them in your jersey.
Yeah, and they're good.
They're so good.
And there's just something
Well,
too about food being in
real
your stomach.
food. Yeah, I'm a big fan of real food on the bike. Which it's mostly like if I do, century ride type distance, I want real food. If I'm going less, if I'm doing like 60 to 80, I probably can just get away with more sugar type stuff, like your goos, your chews, just if you think about the drinks that you're taking in, you can take in a fair amount of calories that way. So when I get to 100, I like to have something real.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the supplements add up. They get pretty expensive. I mean, some of them work pretty well, but that's just my 2 cents.
True.
Yep. And you can make your own maltodextrin drinks as well if you want to save money that way. That's an option.
Yep. Good. Matt, got some more?
Electronic shifting. I know we've talked about it. I think we went around the table a couple podcasts ago, and everyone was like, yep, love it. Yep, love it. Yes, yes, yes. But you don't need it.
No.
It's not something that you need. And it is a pretty big price jump moving to electronic shifting.
Yep.
Whether that's, going from Ultegra to Ultegra Di2, it's a pretty big jump in price.
It's about 2x, isn't it?
I don't remember the exact number. Maybe right now, because that component set has been discounted because I think it's due for another bump.
That's the word on the streets.
Is
that
it?
We're going to
Okay.
have some announcements from Shimano in the near future.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that.
I hope that they're going to go wireless.
So do I, because I hate working on their E2 stuff. Running those wires sucks.
That'd be great. Yeah, and 12-speed obviously would be another thing that they would be looking at, I'm
Yep.
sure.
I'm curious if they're going to just completely skip the whole 12-speed and go straight to
No,
13.
They could.
Didn't Campy just come out with the 13?
They did, and
Campy
Rotor did too. and
Rotor's had one. Yeah.
Based on some of the readings that I've been doing, 13-speed drivetrain kind of with a 1x setup gives you the best variety, the best range, and the best jumps for all the different gear ratios.
They did say the same thing about 12, and they probably even said the same thing about 11. It's like, this is the one that you need to go 1x, which I think is great, but we'll see. But then you get more versatility if you go 2x. I don't know.
I just think if they just go 12 and they do the same thing that SRAM did a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
I think they're just going to be behind the mark because SRAM's going to beat them to the punch again. I mean, they have been, in my opinion, SRAM has been superior to Shimano for the last year and a half with
I
their
will say
new Axis
that my
drivetrain.
Ultegra Di2 shifts significantly better than my SRAM Force.
Really?
That's my experience so far.
Gotcha.
Have you ridden on the Force stuff a lot, or
To be honest, no. I've been
let's
riding
trade
the
bikes?
red.
We'll straight up. We'll go for a spin, and you can see what you think of the shifting. But it's still something that, I mean, with all of this, you can play with it, you can adjust it, you can make those adjustments. And once you get it dialed in, man, the electronic is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to have a cable stretch. It's never going to need that much
Yes.
adjusting. Once it's in, it's great. That being said, you don't need it, and I want to piggyback that and say you don't need electronic shifting, and you don't need the best component system in the world. The 105 component set is something that all of us should look at and seriously consider, just because, man, that stuff is okay. It's pretty solid,
It's solid.
and it's a lot more affordable.
Yep.
Yep. It's
So-
a fraction of the cost.
Right. Anyway,
Yep, that's all good. What else you got, Matt? Or Lance?
That number 4 on my list was expensive stuff. You don't need all the expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Not to get into cycling or to be a cyclist
Right.
at all. So
yeah, if you think about it, like, you get these small gains by going up large amounts of prices for all of
Correct.
us, like the carbon bike and the components and the da-da-da-da.
Yep.
It's like, there's so many people on an aluminum 105 bike that will just destroy me on any hill, right? And it's not because of the component set. It's because they're stronger than I am, tougher than I am, more manly.
Okay, so are we all out on this one? All done?
I'm out.
I'm
can
done
be.
as well. So
Sure.
let's just run around the table real quick and just say, what is it that you think people really do need? The opposite end of that question.
Yeah. So from triathlon, you do need something safe on the road. Okay. So you can't have bar end covers that are not there, right? Like the missing bar end covers. There are rules within your sport that you have to follow. So you need a safe and functionally operational bike.
Correct.
With that, I would probably take it a step further and say you do need a flat repair kit, in my opinion, because, yeah, you can rely on, calling a friend if there's a problem or getting help on the road from a random person. But I just think it's just, it's worth saying, like, yeah, you need this. Like, you should have this if you're going out on the road. You should be able to take care of your own flats, which is the most common mechanical issue that I think you're going to have.
Yeah, you need to have that knowledge. You really do.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
I think
too
so.
many people that I know that don't, and I'll try and spend as much time as I possibly can with them, giving them some little tips and tricks and how-tos, little workshops.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
what do you got, Lance?
A helmet.
Absolutely.
You need a helmet.
This is so funny coming from Lance. So many people have given you a hard
Unless
time
you're
online
riding 5 miles an hour on the beach with your dog.
that can run 20 miles an hour.
Maybe I was going 20 on the beach with the dog.
Do you need a visor, though? That's the
You
million-dollar
do not
question.
need a visor.
Oh, I watched your guys' video. So good.
That was fun.
Visor talk came back up again. Yeah.
It sure did.
We did
The
discuss
mountain.
visors.
It was what you need for mountain biking.
It was
Essentials.
mountain bike essentials.
That was a great video.
I do think that you need to invest a little bit of money. Lance said this, that you don't need cycling-specific gear, but I think if you're going to be a cyclist who's going to commit to riding, especially if you're going to ride year-round, you should probably throw a couple bucks at some decent like bad weather gear. The nice sunny days, it's a little bit easier to get away with like a cheap pair of like, cycling shorts that have a chamois in it, and you can wear a t-shirt. But if you're going to go out and ride in bad weather, you can't wear that. It's just not going to work. You're going to be destroyed. So
Cotton shirt soaked up with water. It's going to be cold.
Not good.
Getting something that can break some wind so that you're not getting hit by wind.
I can break wind.
I broke wind earlier.
You and I are like 12-year-old boys. Can't say break wind with us on the microphone.
Oh, jeez. Having some booties.
Booties?
I got a booty.
Booty for you. Yeah.
Yeah, booties are good on that. I mean, your feet when they get cold is the worst.
Some winter gloves that are going to be water resistant and wind resistant with a little bit of thermal quality to them to keep your hands warm. It's nice to be able to feel the handlebars. If you can't feel your fingers, that's not happy times. And then a jacket that's going to, again, keep the wind off of you as well as probably be water resistant. Yeah. You need all of those things at a minimum if you're not going to expect to go out and not get hypothermia.
Yep.
Those are some things that I think that people really do need, and I don't know, spend some money on that.
Yeah, it's a good place to spend money.
And if you're trying to be budget conscious, just know that sometime in like April, May, a lot of places will start blowing that kind of stuff out because they need to make room for their summer stuff. So think about maybe picking some of that stuff up at the end of the season and just shelving it until you get to the following fall. That's a good time to save a few bucks.
I've bought several cycling rain jackets in May from REI on sale racks because they were ridiculously cheap. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I think I did the same thing at REI like many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
And it was a really nice jacket. It was expensive, but I think I got it for like half price. Wore it for 2 seasons, and then we ended up getting new team stuff, and this was like back in the day, and I'm just not going to wear this anymore. I put it on eBay. I'm like, I wonder if somebody will buy this. And I just put it on there and for auction, and it auctioned for more than I paid for it.
Oh, no.
All right.
And that stuff lasts a long time. Whoever got it on eBay probably still uses it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good deal for them.
Good.
Yeah, it all worked out. What else? You got anything else, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, from triathlon perspective, you do need a decent pair of running shoes. That's one of the. It's not like you can get a used bike, but you don't want someone else's shoes. I think it's worth spending a little bit of money on a decent pair of running shoes.
You need goggles too.
You need goggles. Swimming and running are a lot less of an expensive sport as compared to biking. But they're just those, couple little things that you need. Decent swimsuit and goggles on the swim side of things. You don't need a ton of other, swim toys. But the running is also, having a decent pair of shorts and good running shoes, I think is worth it. So
cool. Anything else, Lance?
Nope.
My one last thing, we talked about this in our little mountain bike video, is a multi-tool.
Oh, yeah.
You need a multi-tool, not just any multi-tool, but you need a multi-tool that fits everything that your bike has to throw at you. So your bike's going to have like a Torx screw. It's going to have Allen screws. It's going to have maybe a flathead or a Phillips. Some of the new multi-tools like Crank Brothers just came out with actually have tire puncture, like a dart kit.
Oh, really? Does it have the little tray with the...
Yeah, it's got
the plug in it?
It's got the plugs, and it's got the little inserter tool device.
Oh, wow.
I should... you'll have to order one of those for me at some point because I'm in for that. Because eventually I guess I'll go tubeless, and then also I don't have a real good multi-tool that I'm carrying with me right now. So
I think it's called the M13 and then the M15, okay. And I think the number of discrepancy is just the number of tools that they have on there, but they've got the little tire plug thing on there, and they've got like a little holder with the plugs in it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So
there you go.
Something nice to have with you.
It'd be a great Christmas present.
Stocking stuffer.
Ooh. Speaking of which, I'm already thinking of all my ideas for my videos, for my stocking stuffer videos. So maybe I'll put that on there.
I think people also need to come down and buy some Tangent Roasters coffee.
Yeah, they do.
You need to have that for cycling.
You got decaf?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I think we might be able to get you some.
All right. I'm on it. As soon as you get decaf.
That's something that you need to have in the cycling world is coffee.
Just drink half the cup, Matt.
Half.
That doesn't work.
No.
I'll be pretty jittery on half a cup, I think. We could both have a half a cup and see who gets more jittery. You and I are pretty much low on... Wait, you take in a fair amount of caffeine. I won't mess with you.
I do not have a caffeine issue.
Yeah, that's me. That's just me.
Back to that coffee, though. For every bag of coffee, $5 goes towards our Bikes for Kids campaign.
And speaking of Bikes for Kids campaign...
Yep.
We got any rides coming up?
We've got a few coming up. We'll start with the furthest one out, which is going to be on December 5th. We're going to do our Ugly Christmas Sweater Ride, which will be a nice little fundraiser kickoff for our Bikes for Kids.
And are we like how's the fundraising stuff going? Are we asking people for money? Are we raising money? Are we all donating a little bit of money to go ride, or how's it going to go?
We've always just put it out there and say, hey, you don't have to give a specific number. You don't have to pay to go do this ride with us. Here's our GoFundMe campaign. Whatever you can do to help, whether it be $1, $50, or $100, whatever.
Do you have that page live yet, or for this particular 2020 year?
Not yet, but it will be up very soon.
Okay, cool.
It's on my to-do list. Somebody actually asked me about that last week, so I put it on my to-do list, and we'll have that up pretty soon. And then other rides that we have coming up, obviously we've got all of our Tuesday rides, but that's not going to be the Tuesdays with rides. Those aren't going to be part of the charity process, but we do have a ride coming up this coming Saturday. I'm pretty sure we're going to do it on Saturday. It will be for our good friend that we lost 2 years ago now, Michael Myers.
Yep.
And we're going to just do our like little Michael Myers memorial ride. And last year was a lot of fun, and it was just kind of neat, kind of like felt like he was there, you know what I mean? So
same thing, we're going to ride out to his tree out in the gorge.
Yep, we donned as the Michael Myers tree that overlooks the gorge, and you can have that peekaboo view of Multnomah Falls.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a beautiful little spot.
That's cool.
It's a cool spot.
And then Michael was a big fan of donuts, so there will be plenty of donuts out there for people to share, and some coffee, and yeah, it was fun.
Coffee and donuts.
Yeah. Sounds like we're getting into our one last thing here almost. So
You mean your two last things?
Or five this time. So on that note, that's a wrap on our topic. Let's do one last thing. Matt, what you got?
I posted 2 videos this past week.
Busy man.
Watch out now. Dude, but they're really kind of very much the same video where I compare the 945 to the 745 watch. 745 is a little bit of a smaller watch, has a little bit less battery life. But other than that, it's pretty much the exact same watch as the 945. And I did it 2 different ways. I said, here's 5 reasons why you should buy the 945. And then, no, I did the other way. 5 reasons why you should buy the 745 and not the 945. Then I turned around the next day and did 5 reasons why you should buy the 945 and not the 745. Realistically, just for our Dialed Podcast listeners, I think the 945 is the way to go.
945, huh?
I mean, right now the prices are good on the 945. They just seem, I don't understand why the prices are so good. I have some suspicions that maybe it's like weird Asian shopping stuff coming from, like an Alibaba. I don't know why like the prices are getting pushed down, but like it makes no sense.
Do you think there might be some knockoffs out there?
No, but they have something where they have, they basically have like a Pacific style like firmware, and that firmware gets updated less frequently, and so that's one thing to kind of be on the lookout. But other than that, it's all the same watch.
Yeah, because it's interesting. I mean, I'll get notifications from Garmin, and there's map pricing. What map pricing is minimum advertised price,
right?
And you've been telling me that you're seeing those watches for $100 under retail.
More than that now.
More than that.
Stupid.
But according to Garmin, they're not supposed to be able to do that. So
yeah.
That makes me wonder what's going on here.
Yeah, I think it's coming from somewhere a little bit untrustworthy. Yeah, potentially. So I might be a little bit hesitant of that. Still, even if it's like $50 difference instead of $100 difference, like that is the 945 is definitely a more alluring watch.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, people are concerned about the size of it being so big on your wrist. But I have tiny wrists. Look how aerodynamic these wrists are.
That's quite aero.
Those are cute.
And the 945 is not that bad, right? I mean, I've been wearing it for years. And the 745 would be a little bit smaller. So anyway, check out those videos. Those are popular topics because people are very curious about those watches.
Yeah.
So
as always, you did a good job with those.
Thanks.
Cool.
We're trying. We are trying.
Lance, no pants.
No pants, Lance. My one last thing, the only thing I'd plug is the Mountain Bike Essentials YouTube video that we put out yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday?
That came out yesterday.
Yes, it came out yesterday.
I watched it yesterday. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a rhythm, and I'm going to do it once a week, and I was trying to do it like simultaneously with the podcast coming out. There's just no way. I just don't have time. So
it's so hard to put those videos out.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of editing.
It's a lot of time consuming work in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not nearly as like fancy as Matt yet. So
yeah, but fancy equals more time. Yeah, it's not good.
It's a fun video. Go watch it. There's
good.
There's a bunch of GoPro footage of us riding mountain bikes, and we talk about what you need and what you don't need mountain biking. I think it's fun, and we make fun of ourselves.
Yep.
So
It's good.
Fun times.
Yep.
I don't really have a one last thing because I already said it. So we got the Michael Myers ride coming up this weekend. You got the Ugly Christmas Sweater ride first Saturday in December, and come down and buy some Tangent Roasters coffee, or we can ship it to you as well if you're listening elsewhere. And all proceeds from that go to our Bikes for Kids campaign. So we can buy a bunch of bikes for a bunch of kids who are underprivileged.
perfect.
More kids on bikes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe we can make a video this year. We can do it all together.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. The video that you made was that 2 years ago was fantastic.
Yeah,
so
that's a good one.
It'd be fun to make another one of those. Cool. All right. We will catch you guys all next week. Hopefully we'll have Evan back in the studio with us. If you want to chime in or say hi to us, you can go to Dialed Podcast on Facebook. You can go to the Dialed website and check out the all the episodes of the Dialed Podcast, but you can see the Patreon stuff there.
141 episodes.
That's a lot. That's
Go
a
back
lot of
and-
hours
go
of
back
us
and listen to
blabbering
them
on.
all.
Yeah. And then what was the last thing I was going to say? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, yeah. Go to Apple, iTunes, and Spotify and all those other places and write some reviews for us. We haven't had a review in a long time, and those actually help propagate the show out to more people so more people
That'd
can
be
listen.
great.
Yeah, appreciate that. So we will see you all next week. Have a good one. Bye for now.